Uh, Good afternoon, viewers and listeners of Concerned Citizens Media. Thank you again for joining me. Uh, Today is April the 14th, 2024. I have several news updates to share with you. I have news on the Iranian attacks on Israel. This is a very serious business. It could lead to a war between Israel and Iran, which can involve the support from the United States, UK, other Western countries, plus maybe from background, from underground or behind the curtain from Arab countries also. Uh, those who are not friendly to Iran. So that's a very serious one. Iran conducted a retaliatory attack against Israel last night. About 200, 300 different rockets, cruise missile, drones. But thanks to different advanced technology, Israel has, and also with the help of France, UK, United States, they survived the attacks. They uh, control those drones by using like Iron Dome, Arrow 3, David Sling, fighter jets also. So they use all kind of technologies to neutralize this Iranian attack. So no major damage. So that's I have a video on that one, and also the celebration of Iranian people or this government attack on Israel, cholera outbreak in Ethiopia and some other countries, Niger protesting, against the United States, calling for U.S. Troops to withdraw. So these are some of the news I'm gonna cover, plus also a couple of news from Addis Standard on the arrest of some individuals uh, on the murder of oil left senior official Bate Urgessa. So the government and the Korinagenya conduct the killing and arrest uh, the family members, relatives, not to mourn properly. So that's the reality we have in Ethiopia. And instead of, you know, uh, conducting independent investigation with the help of international community, they are now arresting a family member of the dead. Uh, so the family cannot properly mourn, grief. So it is it's a tragedy. The government is, playing repeatedly. It did in the case of Hachalu Ndesa, lawyer Abdul Jabbar Hussein, in the killing of 14, Abagadas, Karayu Abagadas. No consequences, just carrying out with impunity. So that's why these crimes are keep repeating in Ethiopia, because those officials, those Korenagenyas and PP officials are conducting, carrying out these crimes with impunity, without any consequences. So it will happen again. We don't know who will be next. We don't know, because the justice system is broken, and these killing squads are continue their operations against Oromos and others without any accountability. any accountability. And we, the United States, UK, Europeans are demanding, asking the Ethiopian government to carry out independent investigation, but we don't expect to be carried out from past experience. Past experience is a case of those killings and the other, senior officials killings, and even they are holding more than 6 senior OLF officials already declared free of their crimes, but PP, led by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, holding them against the court's judgment. So how we can expect free and fair trial or independent investigation? No way. But they can, that's why they are just arresting family members to cover up their crimes. And embargo, third round embargo is announced in Oromia, according to some media outlets. Some Oromo youth called Karre and Kero announced uh, this embargo on transportation of goods and the public. So we don't know how long. There is no time limit, but it's already announced to be carried out in all Oromia. So no transportation service or no transportation of goods and people. These restrictions are timeless, and if we got time, we'll announce it. But it's already some major restriction announced. And the other is Fano operation in Amara region still continue. No settling site, even according to Addis standard, it's already coming to the capital city Addis Ababa, try to shake the base of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. So make them nervous. This fun operation in capital city, there is no security for PP. That's an indication, and they are mostly don't care the operation carrying out farther than the capital city. But this one is a very serious one. They became nervous. They brought all securities they have. They neutralized this operation for now, but they have been shaken, and that's a very serious operation, slowly coming to the capital city. The other one, Oromo Liberation Army, is also still fighting with government forces in different parts of Oromia. That operation, still not ended, no ending side, because PP is not interested in settling the matter in a peaceful manner. They want to use whatever available in that country, the limited resources, to buy drones, to train, soldiers, and all these undercover operatives, police. They depend on this. They depend on these forces. They don't have public support. The only thing they have is military and security apparatus and the country's resources. As long as this thing in their hand, they will continue the war. So the war operation in Amara region, in Oromia region, continues, and without ending sight. Let me read what I have from Addis standard in the case of arrest made by police. It says police confirm 13 arrests linked to Bate Urgessa's murder. The East Shore Police Directorate has announced the arrest of 13 suspects in connection with the murder of Oromo Liberation Front OLF political officer Bate Urgessa, Assistant Commissioner Tariku Dirbaba revealed this information during an interview with OBN and stated that an investigation team has been set up to examine the case. He called upon the community to exercise patience while awaiting the outcome of the criminal investigation. Try to fool the people, really. According to some reports, Bate's brother, Milo, and his sister, Simbo Urgessa, were among those who were detained. See how brutal they are? They just killing your brother and arresting you so you cannot grieve properly. Bate was shot dead on Tuesday night and his body was found early on Wednesday. A family member told Addis Standard that Bate was taken out of his hotel room around midnight on Tuesday and his body was found by the road the next morning. His brothers cannot, his sister cannot carry out this crime. This is a cover-up. It's a cover-up. The family member added that those who took him looked like government security forces. These are the eyewitnesses. Later Wednesday, the Oromia regional government released a statement condemning the killing of Bate Urgessa, stating that, in quotation, ongoing propaganda to make the government responsible is not acceptable in any way, end of quotation. The statement conveyed that Bate, a political officer of the OLF, was killed by, in quotation, unidentified assailants in Maki town, adding that, in quotation again, whoever committed it, the act is totally unacceptable. The Ethiopian Human Rights Commission was among the first to demand a swift, impartial, and comprehensive investigation into the murder. The Commission called upon both the Oromia regional authorities and the federal government to collaborate in holding those responsible accountable for their actions. The OLF also strongly denounced the brutal murder, in quotation, of their political officer. In a statement, the party expressed profound sorrow and anguish over the loss of Bate, whom they described as, in quotation, an eloquent, selfless, and brave Oromo soul, end of quotation. The Oromo Liberation Front emphasized the need for a thorough and transparent investigation to bring the perpetrators to justice. Various local and international stakeholders, including the U.S. State Department and the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, have joined the call for independent investigation into Bate's murder. The United Kingdom government also echoed the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission's demand for a prompt, impartial, and complete investigation, stressing the importance of holding those responsible accountable for their actions. The funeral ceremony of Bate took place yesterday at the Maseret Christos Church in his hometown of Meki in the East Shore zone of the Oromia region. Credit Addis Standard. So, do we get independent, impartial investigation? No. From past experience, I'm saying. PP, led by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, will not allow any independent investigation. That should be clear. They can arrest the brother of the murdered or the sister just to play a game with Ethiopians, but you will not get independent investigation. So EU, UK, USA, United Nations, or Human Rights Watch, or Ethiopian Human Rights Commission. They got to figure out how to enforce their statement instead of just releasing for the sake of, you know. So it will not work. We need to come up with some kind of tough sanctions uh, or some kind of tough measure to force PP to to abide by your statement, like U.S. sanctions or UK sanctions, uh, force them, that can force them, economic or visa restriction on those, including the prime minister. But if you just release for the sake of releasing statement, yes, but you will not get it. You will not get it any independent investigation. This is about city Fano operation in the capital city. This is also from Addis standard. It says city police says 3 killed, 2 injured during shootout with, in quotation, extremist Fano members in Addis Ababa. The Addis Ababa Police Commission has announced that its members have taken action against the extremist Fano leadership and the members following a shootout between security forces and group members that took place near the Millennium Hall in the capital Addis Ababa. The shootout resulted in the killing of 1 civilian and 2 Fano members. 2 police officers, Sergeant Ararsa Tashoma and Constable Matthias Petros were also injured. The police named Ndashau Getenet as the civilian who was killed, in quotation again, by extremists for refusing to cooperate when they forced him to give them a ride, the city police said. In quotation again, the members of the extremist group Nahusseini Andarge Tarikun, Ebenezer Gashau Abate, and Haptamu Andarge Tasamma were intercepted after surveillance by security forces while on a mission to carry out a terrorist attack in our city, Addis Ababa. End of quotation. The city police claimed in a statement issued. The statement further said the police were, in quotation again, attempted to arrest the terrorists before they committed their acts of terrorism, end of quotation. But a shootout ensued in Bole Kifle Katama, Warada 3, around the Millennium Hall, resulting in the reported deaths and injuries. The extremists, in quotation again, the extremists were asked to surrender but refused to do so, end of quotation, the police said. The, in quotation again, leader Nahussein Andarge Tarakan was injured and has died after being sent to the hospital. Haptamu Andarge was killed during the shootout. The statement said, adding that the third member of the group, Abenazir Gashu, in quotation, was arrested without injury. Further details will be made available to the public after investigations, the city police said. This is the first known report by the police of a shootout involving members of the Fano militants and the government security forces in the capital city. The incident came 1 year into the start of the armed confrontation between government forces and the Fano militants, which started in April last year after the Ethiopian Joint Security and Intelligence Task Force announced that it had started, in quotation, taking decisive measures against, again in quotation, extremist forces that it accused of, in quotation, to take control of regional state power by destroying the constitutional order in the Amara regional state. End of quotation. Despite an extension by Ethiopian lawmakers of the 6 month state of emergency, initially declared in August last year, by 4 months, Amara region continued to grapple with a region-wide militarized conflict involving federal and regional state forces on the one hand and the Fano militia on the other. Credit Addis standard. So this war also will not have an ending, because it's not only you know Fano militia, the government fighting. The Fano militia has a strong public support in Amara region. That's a challenge. Plus, in the diaspora community, funding is coming from the diaspora community, and also other coverage. So it's not an easy war. If you don't have public support, you cannot win a war. You can, even though you have drones, you have all the armaments and military personnel. If you don't have public support, your final gain is zero. So Prosperity Party, led by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, they have to figure out how can they govern that country through different strategy, through peaceful means, not military engagement, not spending the country's limited money on drones, tanks, or training soldiers, or using Korean again. You cannot win. You cannot win. It's already past 1 year. It's going to continue unless a different strategy, by a different leadership created in that country. So it's going to continue. It's not where, the government is not only fighting fun. Now it's coming to, capital city. This is the first incident, and it will continue for sure as long as this problem continues. This is U.S. Response to Iran's attack on Israel. This is from U.S. State Department. The United States condemned Iran's attack on Israel in the strongest terms. While we do not seek escalation, we will continue to support Israel's defense, and as the President made clear, we will defend U.S. personnel. I will be consulting with allies and partners in the region and around the world in the hours and days ahead. So that is Anthony J. Blinken, Secretary of State, on Iranian attack on Israel. So we don't know what Israel will do. Their cabinet is in meeting, and we don't know what they're gonna decide. They will attack Iran, or they just leave it as it is. If they attack, Iran also may continue attack. Then that will expand into war. This is the United States welcomes establishment of Haiti's Transitional Presidential Council. Haiti is on a very tough situation, as you already know, maybe. Yeah, very bad gang group try to control that country. This is press statement. The United States welcomes the establishment of a Transitional Presidential Council, TPS, in Haiti. The results of months of discussion among diverse Haitian stakeholders. This council helps pave the way for free and fair elections and the expedited development of multinational security support mission. We applaud Haitians for their commitment to move forward in a spirit of reconciliation and national dialogue. We remain committed to working with CARICOM and international partners to support the TPS mission to work for and improve the lives of all Haitians. The security situation in Haiti remains untenable due to the violence caused by gangs that claim to represent the Haitian people but thrive on violence and misery. Gangs have shut down key infrastructure and economic sites that are lifeline for fuel, humanitarian aid, and other virtual supplies and continue to strip Haitians of their rights to food, education, and health care. The United States is surging support for Haitian security forces to bolster their capabilities as they fight to defend their country. We commend Haitian leaders for making tough compromises to move toward democratic governance via free and fair elections. Much work lies ahead, and the United States remain committed to supporting the people of Haiti. This is about the Iranian attack on Israel. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps said in a Saturday statement that missile and drone launches were in response to the crimes by the Zionist regime, in quotation. Iranian leaders, including Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, had previously pledged to retaliate against Israel for the Damascus strike, and Israel in turn threatened a counterattack of its own. Israel has neither confirmed nor denied its involvement in Damascus attack. In quotation, if Iran attacks from its territory, Israel will react and attack in Iran. Israel Foreign Affairs Minister Israel Katz wrote in Wednesday post on X, tagging the Ayatollah's X account. This was said before the Iran attack, so we'll see if they can carry out what they say. Given Iran's various warnings, the White House had been expecting an Iranian strike and had been communicating with Israel to ensure they would be prepared to defend themselves. In a statement after the launch, Iran's mission to the United Nations warned the US not to get involved. In quotation, it is a conflict between Iran and the rogue Israeli regime from which the US must stay away. End of quotation. The mission posted to X. So that is Iran's warning to the United States. Stay out of our business, but that is an impossible. It's not possible for America and the Western country to stay out of business. If you attack Israel, you are directly confronting the United States and other Western countries, plus some, Arab countries who are supporting Israel behind the cartel, not openly but behind, because they want to make business with Israel. That's their agenda. That's why we have seen the agonizing tragedies in Gaza. And the deaths of more than 34,000 Palestinians and the complete destruction. Why? Because those Arab countries are working with Israel, helping them. Even they don't allow their people to come out and demonstrate. They are helping. They want to make business. They don't care about all this expansion and into Palestinian territories by Israel and the waging, completely destroying uh, the Gaza city, and the still still continue anyway. Even after Iran attack, still Israel continue, creating misery on Gaza, killing, injuring, and uh, refusing the return of those displaced people. So that's a tough one. Let's continue with some videos I selected for today. The first one is cholera outbreak in Ethiopia and other African countries. Then I have Iran attack Israel, celebration of Iranians uh, for this attack. Nothing to celebrate anyway, but they celebrated the welcome, the new news. And also finally, I think the Nigerians calling for US to leave their country. Thank you again for coming back. Let's watch these videos.
Reports that cholera epidemics are returning in the southern part of the continent, which is currently in its wet season. Now, many communities are experiencing landslides and floods as a result of increased rainfall. Conditions ripe for the spread of cholera, even into places where no new verified cases have been recorded. In week 10 of 2024, 8 countries, Burundi, Cameroon, Comoros, Ethiopia, Malawi, Tanzania, Zambia, and Zimbabwe reported a total of 2,242 new cases. Since the beginning of the year, the number of cholera cases and deaths reported to the WHO Regional Office for Africa as of 10th March was 51,998 and 1,118 deaths respectively. That is a case fatality ratio of about 2%. 5 countries have been identified as having acute crises: the DRC, Ethiopia, Mozambique, Zambia, and Zimbabwe, and they account for more than 95% of both the total cases and total deaths this year. To cap these numbers, UNICEF has facilitated the delivery of over 26 million OCV doses to 8 priority countries with high cholera burden in the region: Ethiopia, Kenya, Malawi, Mozambique, Somalia, South Sudan, Zambia, and Zimbabwe.
Okay, this is Iran drones and cruise missiles attacking Israel, and the sirens. So this is a barrage of different rockets coming from Iran to Israel. It's terrifying, as you can see, you can hear from the sirens. But I said, fortunately, they use the technology to neutralize all of them, almost 90+%. Just no big damage announced. Yes. So this happened last night. They have Iron Dome, Arrow 3, David Sling, as I said, and fighter jets to neutralize all this. If not, so there could be huge damage, huge damage in Israel. Could be threatening thing for.
Did you know TurboTax now provides you with a tax expert who will do your taxes from start to finish? Try TurboTax Live Full Service.
Okay, this is a celebration in Iran, I think, following the attack. They celebrated Iran's response against Israeli aggression in Damascus and other places. We'll see if this celebration works, but they celebrated anyway. Okay, one more video.
Hundreds of demonstrators took to the streets of Niamey on Saturday, demanding the departure of American troops some 3 months after the last French troops left the country. Protesters have vowed to continue demonstrating until all American forces leave the country.
This mobilization is the Nigerian people's call to the American government to set a timetable for withdrawing its troops from our country. We hope that the American government will take precautions to prevent any escalation.
Previously, authorities were against military agreements with the French, and we supported their stance until the French forces departed. Today, we are once again demonstrating to demand the departure of American forces from our country. We request that the Americans leave our territory. The United States must recognize that Niger is a sovereign state. Just like them, we are free to establish relations with whomever we want, as long as it is done in the spirit of mutual benefit. Demonstrators accuse the U.S. of running clandestine operations on Nigerian soil. Last month, Niger's military regime declared the presence of U.S. troops in the country illegal and incompatible with constitutional and democratic rules.
Nigerians are not aware of the operations carried out by American soldiers from their base in our territory. This significantly compromises our sovereignty. We are aware that the interests of the people of Niger are not guaranteed to the Americans. Therefore, we request that they vacate our country.
Members of the junta's decision-making body, the National Council for the Protection of the Homeland, CNSP, also joined demonstrators in solidarity.
We are here to offer General Abdurrahmane Chiani's support to our fellow citizens and to remind the people of Niger that the fight continues. We have won some battles, but there are others to be won by God's grace. We call on all the people of Niger to remain mobilized and united.
At the end of their march, members of the military council and demonstrators planted 3 trees to symbolize sovereignty, freedom, and the homeland. Last week, Russian military trainers arrived in Niger to help reinforce the country's air defenses as the country pulls away from close cooperation with the West. Until the military coup in July 2023, Niger had been a key security ally of France and the United States. The military accord allowed around 1,000 US military personnel to operate on its territory out of 2 bases.
Okay, so that is efforts against U.S. Military personnel in Niger. So the U.S. should figure out how can peacefully work with Niger. I don't know, because Russia is coming, and Nigerians are pushing the United States for some reason out of their country, and they say we are an independent country, we deserve to have the right to have any kind of diplomatic engagement with any country. Yes, we'll see how will resolve if the US is listening to them and withdrawing or make a deal. We don't know. So let me conclude today's presentation by saying Prosperity Party and the Korenagenias stop this fake investigation and arresting the family member of the deceased, the murdered Bate Urgessa. This is a fake election. Allow the family to grieve properly. Do not create crisis over crisis. And instead of conducting this fake election, fake investigation, please work with the international community, US, EU, and others to bring those Korenagenya who killed him, who took him from the hotel and killed him and throw his body on, on the roadside. So this fake investigation will not, help you, to clear your name. Your name is already implicated. The witness already said the government forces, the government security forces took him from the hotel uniform. So don't try to fake it. Don't try to cheat Ethiopians and the global community and create misery on the families. Bring those people if you want to, make your hand clean. But do we expect this to happen? No, as long as this Korenagenya or peace committee, the killing squad, remains in power with coordination of regional and federal level. The challenge will continue, and high ranking officials and others, important people, will be killed in Ethiopia as long as this Korenagenya continue and as long as PP operates with impunity, without any accountability, without any justice, without free and fair investigation. The killings will continue. That's all I'm going to say for today. Thank you for joining me. I will be back with other news update. So long. Bye-bye.